welcome to Stacking the Shelves for the last 3 weeks. This week, in the last few weeks, I did get 12 different books to read, and I'll go ahead and start going through them. The first book I got for review, I only got one for review. I haven't been really accepting review books, and that is Into the Riverlands by Ning Vo. This is the third book in the Singing Hills cycle. This does come out October 25th, and I got through NetGalley to review. So very excited to get that. I really enjoyed Singing Hills cycle. I already read this, and I thought it was really good. It was a little more action-packed than the previous ones, but still had a lot of really good discussion about like story and what makes a good story and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, really liked it a lot. I did buy 2 books. Both of these were books in the Wayfarer series, and the first one was Record of a Spaceborne Few, Wayfarers Book 3 by Becky Chambers, and the next one was The Galaxy and the Ground Within, Wayfarers Book 4 by Becky Chambers. I have read Book 3. I really enjoyed it. They're very space opera-y, like it was very much about a group of characters living in the Exodus fleet, which is the human fleet that left Earth and has continued to live in space. They don't live planet-side. So very interesting world, very awesome characters, just very much about these characters' day-to-day life. And there is a little bit of a kind of a murder mystery plot in there, but mostly it's just about watching these characters from day to day and what they're doing. All right, so we also got 3 audiobooks. I mentioned in my Best Books of August post, we were on vacation in Denver. We drove. I don't think I mentioned that. We decided instead of flying to drive. It didn't really help us because we ended up getting COVID anyways. But we drove. We took our Tesla. Did another road trip. We've really been enjoying doing road trips with the Tesla. The timing of the trips are just very nice because you end up stopping every couple hours and you stop for maybe 20 minutes to charge. And it's very nice to just stop, get out and walk, get something, drink a snack or whatever, use the bathroom, and get back in and go. And so that timing just seems to really make these road trips a lot less exhausting. So we did take a road trip, and whenever we do road trips, we like to get audiobooks to listen to as a family. This time we got T. Kingfisher Saint of Steel series. So there's 3 books in that trilogy: Paladin's Grace, Paladin's Strength, and Paladin's Hope. I did not realize, so I had read The Wonder Engine, it's like the Clock Tar series or whatever, and that one had a little bit of romance in it, but not much. The Saint of Steel trilogy is a fantasy romance. It is very heavy on romance, which was really interesting with my 15-year-old son in the back listening to sex scenes. He was a good sport about it though, and it was fine. It was just a little odd. And it was so heavily romance, especially Paladin's Grace, the first book. Paladin's Strength was a better book, and I just thought more well balanced. But it was so heavy on the romance, Paladin's Grace, everybody was just a little bit there just wasn't a lot of plot there. But very much enjoyed Paladin's Strength. We did not have time to do Paladin's Hope. Each of the audiobooks were about 16 hours, and it's about 14 some hours out and back. So we listened to one on the way out, one on the way back, and we didn't really have time to listen to the other one. But we'll be taking a trip out to Gamehole Con in October, and we'll listen to Paladin's Hope when we do that trip. And then I did borrow quite a few books from either the library or Kindle Unlimited. From the library, I've been trying to read some Kingfisher stuff, and I didn't realize how many things I had got to read by her until I started reading them all and was like, oh my gosh, I have a lot to read. So I got 9 Goblins by T. Kingfisher from the library and really enjoyed that one. It's a little novella about a host of goblins that gets put accidentally behind enemy lines and it's just very cute. It is kind of high fantasy, but they call it low fantasy because it's goblins and there's a lot of humor in it. Really enjoyed it. It was just a really fun fantasy read. Just hardcore, straight out goblins, fantasy stuff, war, magic, but very funny. So if you're looking for something like that, 9 Goblins, I really enjoyed. I also got Empty Smiles from the library by Catherine Arden, and this is the fourth and final book in the, I'm just blanking on it, the Small Spaces Quartet. And this has been kind of a creepy middle grade horror series, but like fantasy horror series about these kids that end up on the kind of the other side, the creepy side of the world. And there's a guy with a creepy smile throughout the series who will kind of grant whatever they want, but instead they've been trying to prevent him from hurting other people and stuff. Very well done. I liked the first book the best. The second book was pretty good. The third book was okay. And the fourth book is the final book in the series, so I wanted to go ahead and get it. I actually did get that from the library, an audiobook as well. So, and then another T. Kingfisher from the library. I got A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking. I'm reading that right now. I don't like it as much as I like Nine Goblins. It's quite a bit longer. It is another middle grade book. It's about a 14-year-old girl who's a magical baker who gets wound up in this plot to take over the kingdom kind of thing. And it's cute. It just seems a little long. Like it shouldn't be as long as it is. It feels like the story is taking a little bit too long to move forward, and the characters are fine, but they're all younger, and the adults are kind of depicted as being somewhat goofy. It's okay. I'm not loving it, but I'm gonna finish it. All right, then for books I got from Kindle Unlimited, there were 3 I got through Kindle Unlimited. The first one is another T. Kingfisher book. See, I told you, like, I just decided, I want to read more of this, and all of a sudden I'm just reading a ton. And that is The Seventh Bride by T. Kingfisher. I like this one quite a bit. This one has a very dark fairy tale feel to it. It is supposed to be a retelling of Bluebeard, I believe. Like, he's the guy who, like, marries all these women and kills them or whatever. I really liked it a lot. It has a lot of magic. It has a very fairy tale feel to it. It features a young woman who gets married off to this man, sorcerer, under very mysterious circumstances. And when she gets to his house, she meets his other wives and has to kind of unravel this whole mystery. She gets sent on quests by the sorcerer husband dude and has to complete them, or else he's going to marry her. I guess he's not quite married her in the beginning. And so she's trying to do these quests in order to not marry him because of something she finds out about him, and she has to kind of unravel this whole mystery. I really liked it. I thought it was really well done. Again, it is a little bit shorter, and I have been drawn to shorter stories lately just because studying for the patent bar, I'm having a lot of reading to do. So I really like that one. This is like mini reviews / books I got, I guess. The second one I got through Kindle Unlimited is The Scribe by Elizabeth Hunter, and I have been trying to read more of Elizabeth Hunter's series because I read her Moonstone Cove, her Glimmer Lake, and her Cambio Springs, and really liked them all. The Scribe is the first book in the Iron, I think that's how you say it, the Iron Chronicles. There's 7 books in the series. I finished this one as well, and I liked it. I didn't love it. It is very traditional paranormal romance with an alpha male character. Not as much humor. The woman needs to be rescued quite a bit, not because she's not a strong woman, just because she's thrown in way over her head. The race of the Iron are like angels, like descendants of angels, so human angel hybrids that are protecting humanity from the fallen angel hybrids, the Grigori. So you've got the whole like angel mythology in there. It wasn't a bad book. It was good. It was very well written, very easy to read, very engaging. It's just very typical of paranormal romance. Like, it very much follows that template. And it is a little bit older, so it is in the early 2010s, I think it released, and you can tell, like, it is an early 2010s paranormal romance. If you've read a lot of that, that is what this is. So it's not my favorite Elizabeth Hunter series. I am going to go ahead and read probably the second, third book and just see how the story goes. The first 3 books follow one couple. The last 4 books each follow a different couple. As is typical of a lot of romance. The last Kindle Unlimited one, I have that on the twist. I lied. I put the singer, no, I didn't lie. The second Kindle Unlimited, or the third Kindle Unlimited one, we'll get this right. is another Emerald Chronicles book. It's book 2, The Singer. So I got that as well because I did plan on reading the first couple books. So those are the 12 books, excuse me, I got through, I got in the last 3 weeks. One for review, a couple I bought, technically 4 audiobooks, 3 of them I bought, 1 of them I got from the library, an additional 3 from the library, including that audiobook, and then 3 Kindle Unlimited books. So, you know, I've been keeping my to be read pile around 10 to 15 books, and I'm very happy with that. A few years back, I think I was up at 300 in my to be read pile, and that was like constantly stressing me out. So I've been very happy with how I'm managing what I have to read. And it has been fun not taking so many review books because I do get to do stuff like say, hey, I want to read everything Kingfisher's written, and I can just go do it because I have time to do it. And same with like, I want to read more Elizabeth Hunter, I can go do that. Annette Marie is coming out with a new book really soon, so I'm very excited later in September. Very excited to read that as well. She's another one of my Kindle Unlimited like favorite authors. As I mentioned in my Best of August post, this one's going to post a week after that one. We did our vacation. It was fine until we caught COVID. We actually drove and we're trying to be pretty careful. I mentioned in my Best of August books, I said something about like we did this Meow Wolf abstract art thing in Denver. Super cool if you ever get a chance. Probably the more famous thing that this Meow Wolf does is the Omega Mart in Las Vegas. It's really hard to explain. The Meow Wolf exhibit in Denver is, I'm blanking on it. It's called the something. It's called the something, like a place where you go to like travel places. And so you're supposed to be able to travel between parallel realities in this place, and they have it all done up so you go in different rooms. But it's one of these places that's almost like Disney World / an escape room / I don't even know, / an abstract art exhibit. So you're going through, you're opening secret doors and finding stuff. And there is a storyline you can do. But the reason I'm talking about this more is we're pretty sure that's where we ended up catching COVID, because they were doing timed entry. And it was one of these things, we were driving into Denver to our hotel and we spent the night there. We did a gold mine tour the next morning, but then we were driving up to Estes Park, which is where we spent the bulk of our vacation. We rented a condo in Estes Park, but we just kind of wanted to spend the night in Denver to adjust to altitude, and like, you know, it was closer, and that's where the gold mine tour was and all this. Long story long, apparently I can't keep this short. We were driving to our hotel and we saw this really bizarre, huge structure with this Meow Wolf on it. My son saw it. He's like, oh my God, what is that? That looks so cool. And it was super busy. And we were like, oh, well, that is kind of cool. And so we went to dinner and stuff. And then on the way back from dinner, I said, did you guys want to try and do that? You know, do we even know what it is? And we looked on, we were able to get tickets for that night, which happened to be a Friday night, and they were supposedly timed entry to keep crowds down. And we were like, okay, well, yeah, sure, we'll go ahead and do it. You know, we haven't been doing a lot of like big event things. We go out to eat dinner once in a while. We usually try to eat outside, so we're still trying to kind of be careful for the pandemic. And then my parents had taken their camper out, and they were also near Denver. We were going to do this gold mine tour thing with them, and we called them and we're like, hey, do you guys want to join us? And they were like, oh yeah, that looks really weird, you know. So we went to do it. It was timed entry, but it wasn't as strict as they said. They weren't having people leave. They were just letting people in. So when we got in there, it looked a little crowded, but once we got up past the lobby area to the main floors where the exhibits and the story and everything was, it was insanely packed with just a million people. And everything, it's very intricate. Like everything is a completely different environment with all these, I don't even know how to explain it. Go look up Meow Wolf on my Google Maps and look at some of the pictures. I posted some pictures as well when I did a review of it. Very bizarre. We weren't able to do the story very well though, because you have to scan these little codes, and it was so busy. You'd have to like wait in line to scan the codes. Anyways, we're pretty sure that's where we picked up COVID, because then we got sick about 4 days later. definitely worth it. I don't know if it was worth catching COVID to do it, but I thought it was really worth it. I am very into the artsy kind of stuff, and I thought the whole concept of it was so immersive and interesting. I enjoyed myself a lot. I think my husband thought it was a little bit of a waste of time. I think my son liked it a lot. Um, so I'd recommend it, but again, I think that's where we got sick, and it's one of those situations which, if I had known how crowded it was going to be, because it didn't look that crowded from the lobby, we probably would have brought masks in, but we didn't think it was going to be that crazy, and it was crazy. So I think that's where we got sick, and I am still, like, I've coughed a few times. I'm still out of breath. I'm about 2 weeks out from when I started showing symptoms. We did test negative about a week after we think we caught it. So we tested positive when we had symptoms, and then we tested negative about a week after. But it's still 2 weeks out, and I'm still coughing. I'm still kind of short on breath, and I will occasionally just get really tired. Like, I'll just, like, we went grocery shopping this morning, and as we were, I was like, I'm just so tired all of a sudden. I don't even know if I can make it out to the car. But then a couple hours later, I'll feel better. So I think it is getting better. Like, I feel better today than I felt yesterday, and I feel better yesterday than I did the day before, but it's a longer recovery than we expected. A lot of people we know with breakthrough infections, like earlier in the summer, were saying, oh yeah, no, I had a cough for a few days. And this has been I mean, we had fevers for, 3 days or so, and then it's been 2 weeks out. We're still sick. So, um, yeah, that was something that we did not like bringing home from vacation. Other than that, as I mentioned, my best of August vacation went well. We had a really good time. Um, we don't have much planned for the rest of the year. We're going to go to Gamehole Con. We are talking about next year now, and I don't know that we're going to do much next year either. My son is planning on working at a camp over the summer and stuff, and so we have a week up on the North Shore, which we do every year, and then we're talking maybe about trying to go to Gen Con, which is, the big board game convention in Indianapolis. We haven't done that. Um, the plan was to do that when my son was over 13, because there's a lot of stuff he can't do there when he's 13, and we had gone like every year until he was 8, but it got to the point where we had to like put him in care on site or just not do stuff, and so we tried putting him in care on site, and he hated it, and so we were going to go back when he was 13, but of course that year was COVID year, so it didn't happen, and then we didn't feel comfortable going the next year, so we are just thinking maybe instead of doing like a big fancy longer vacation, we're going to go down to Indianapolis again and do Gen Con next year. We always do Gamehole Con too. That's more local. It's in Wisconsin, really close to us here, and it's fun, but it's just not the huge spectacle that Gen Con is. So, anyways, yeah, I'm just blabbing on forever here. I hope you guys enjoy my stacking the shelves and all the discussion afterwards. I hope you got a lot of great books to read and that you have a great month of reading ahead of you. And I will talk to you later. Bye.